Some moments burn into memory forever, not because of what we see, but because of what we feel. A crowded street, a girl crying so hard her words barely come out, and a man who wasn't supposed to be there, but thank God he was. She grabbed his sleeve, looked up with trembling hands and whispered, "They hit my mama." The next few minutes, no one on that street would ever forget. Before we continue, to our returning viewers, thank you. Your support is what fuels us to bring these powerful stories to life. And if you're new here, we invite you to subscribe. With your help, we'll continue to share stories that inspire, challenge, and move hearts. If this story touches you, please leave a comment. Your words mean more than you know. The street was alive with motion, people walking fast, heads down, voices tangled in the noise of the city. The kind of day where everyone's too busy to look at anyone else. Jasonstatham walked among them quietly, a jacket slung over one shoulder, coffee in hand. He wasn't trying to be noticed. He never did. Just another man passing through another town. But fate never asks for permission. He just stepped off the curb when he felt a tug at his sleeve, small, desperate, shaking. He turned, and there she was. A little girl no older than 7, tears streaking her face, her tiny hands clutching the fabric of his jacket like her life depended on it. Her voice trembled as she tried to speak, her words breaking through sobs. "Please, sir, they hit my mama." The world around them didn't stop, not yet. People kept walking, sidestepping the scene like it was none of their business. But Jason froze, his eyes locked on the girl's, wide, terrified, pleading. He crouched down, steadying his voice. Hey, slow down, who did this?" She pointed down the street with a trembling hand, her breath hitching. "The men at the market. Mama tried to stop them. They pushed her." Jason followed the direction of her finger. At the far end of the street, a small crowd had gathered, raised voices, shouting. And through the gaps between strangers, he caught a glimpse, a woman on the ground, clutching her arm, surrounded by 2 men laughing like it was funny. Jason's jaw tightened. He stood slowly, his expression hardening with every heartbeat. "Stay here," he said softly. "Don't move." But she shook her head, panic flooding her eyes. "No, they'll hurt you too." Jason gave her a faint smile, the kind that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Not today." He turned and started walking. Not running, just walking, steady, certain, unhurried, the kind of walk that makes people step aside without knowing why. The closer he got, the louder the noise became. "Look at her," one man jeered. "Can't even carry her own groceries without crying about it." The woman, her face pale, lips split, tried to reach for her scattered shopping bag, but one of the men kicked it aside, spilling fruit into the gutter. Jason stopped a few feet away. "Pick that up," he said calmly. The laughter stopped. The taller man with greasy hair and a denim jacket turned around. "What was that?" Jason repeated, slower this time. "Pick that up." The shorter one laughed, looking him up and down. "Oh, we got a tough guy here. What are you, her boyfriend?" Jason didn't blink. "No, just someone who doesn't like bullies." The taller man smirked. "You should mind your own business." Jason took a step closer, his voice low and even. "You made it my business the second she started crying." The crowd started to notice. People slowed down, phones came out. The air changed, attention replacing indifference. The woman on the ground looked up, confusion and fear in her eyes. "Please don't." Jason's voice softened just for her. "It's okay, you're safe now." The taller man cracked his knuckles, smirking again. "You sure about that, old man?" Jason tilted his head slightly. "You sure you want to find out?" The smaller man lunged first, quick, sloppy. Jason sidestepped, grabbed his wrist and twisted. The man let out a sharp cry before Jason drove a precise strike to his ribs. He hit the ground before anyone could blink. The taller man swung next, a wide hook that Jason ducked under easily. His elbow shot up, connecting with the man's jaw. One move, clean and brutal. The man stumbled back, crashing into a display cart. The crowd gasped. Phones were recording now. Jason turned back to the woman, offering her his hand. "You all right?" She hesitated, then nodded, clutching his arm as he helped her up. I didn't think anyone would stop." Jason gave a small nod. "Most people don't. Doesn't mean no one should." Behind them, the taller man groaned, struggling to stand. "You're gonna regret this." Jason turned, his expression unchanged. You've already made your choice. This is the result. He stepped forward, the man flinched, and Jason stopped, just inches away. You've got two options, he said quietly. You help her pick up every last thing you threw, or you leave without your teeth. Your call. The man froze. The look in Jason's eyes wasn't anger. It was colder than that. A kind of stillness that made his words feel heavier. Okay, the man stammered. Okay, all right. He dropped to his knees, scrambling to gather the groceries. The smaller one, still wheezing, crawled over to help him. Jason crouched down beside them for a second. Good, now say it. They looked at him, confused. Say what? Sorry. The taller man hesitated. Jason's gaze didn't waver. Sorry, he muttered. Jason nodded toward the woman, to her. The man turned, eyes down. Sorry, miss. She stared, speechless. Jason straightened up, voice low. Now leave. They didn't need telling twice. As they stumbled away, the crowd slowly began to clap, quietly at first, then louder. Not for the fight, but for the way it ended. Jason turned to the little girl, who was now running toward them, her face still streaked with tears. She threw her arms around her mother, burying her face in her side. Mama, she sobbed. The woman held her close, shaking. It's okay, baby, it's okay. Jason watched them for a moment, then started to walk away. Wait, the woman called after him. You didn't tell me your name. Jason paused, looking back over his shoulder with the faintest of smiles. Doesn't matter. Then he turned and kept walking. But as he passed the edge of the crowd, someone stepped forward, a shopkeeper holding a first aid kit. Hey, he said, you did good there. Jason glanced at him, did what anyone should. The shopkeeper shook his head. No, mate, most people just watch. Jason gave a small nod, his voice quiet. Yeah, that's the problem. He glanced back once more, the little girl clinging to her mother's arm, the woman smiling through tears. The crowd still murmuring, whispering his name like a rumor. And for a brief moment, Jason allowed himself something close to peace. But behind the peace, his eyes carried something else, something older, a memory of too many places where no one had stepped in. Because deep down he knew this wasn't the first time he'd seen something like this, and it wouldn't be the last. Jason didn't look back again. The city swallowed him up, the crowd's noise fading behind him. He walked as if nothing had happened, but inside, the moment clung to him. He could still hear the little girl's voice, raw with fear. They hit my mama. He found a quiet corner cafe and sat by the window. The waitress poured him coffee without a word, but her glance lingered. Maybe she'd seen the video already. Maybe word traveled faster than he thought. Across the street, the sun dipped low, casting gold over the wet pavement. For a while, Jason just watched the world move. People laughing, phones out, music from passing cars, like life was sprinting forward, desperate to forget anything uncomfortable. But Jason didn't forget. He never did. That night, the video surfaced online, shaky footage, captured from someone's phone. The comments exploded. Who is this guy? Finally, someone stood up. The world needs more like him. Jason didn't see it. He didn't care to, but others did, including the men he'd confronted. 2 nights later, the diner at the corner of Brant Street stayed open late. The same woman, Maria, as the name tag on her uniform read, was there behind the counter. Her bruises were fading, but not her unease. Every time the door chimed, she flinched. It was just past midnight when it happened. The door opened, and in walked the same 2 men, denim jacket and his friend, faces tight with anger. The room went still. Maria froze mid-step, the coffee pot trembling in her hand. Well, the taller one sneered. Look who's still working nights. Her throat closed. Please just. He raised a hand, grinning. Relax, sweetheart, we just came for a chat. A man at the counter stood up, older, tired-looking. She told you to leave her alone. The shorter one snorted. And who are you, Grandpa? Maria backed up slowly toward the kitchen door, but the taller man stepped in front of her. That hero of yours ain't here to play savior tonight, is he? Outside, across the street, someone else had just stepped out of a cab. Jason. He'd come back for one reason, to make sure the girl and her mother were okay. He promised himself it was just a check-in, 5 minutes, nothing more. But the second he saw those men through the diner window, his chest tightened. He pushed open the door. The bell chimed once. Every head turned. Jason stood there calm as ever, eyes on the men. The taller one froze, color draining from his face. "You've got to be kidding me." Jason's voice was low. "Didn't expect to see me again, did you?" The shorter one backed away instinctively. "We don't want trouble." Jason stepped forward, closing the door behind him with a soft click. "Then you shouldn't have brought it." Maria exhaled shakily. "Please just don't fight." Jason turned to her, his voice softer. "You've had enough people ignoring what's right, not tonight." The taller man's bravado cracked. "You think you can just walk in here and—" Jason didn't let him finish. He grabbed a stool, swept it aside, and moved closer. "I don't think," he said quietly. "I know." The room held its breath. The first punch came fast from the smaller man again, desperate and wild. Jason caught it mid-swing, twisted his arm down, and with a flick of his elbow sent him collapsing to the floor. The taller one lunged next, swinging wildly. Jason ducked, drove a knee into his gut, and swept his leg clean out from under him. The two hit the linoleum hard, gasping. Jason didn't move in anger. He moved with precision. Each motion controlled, measured, almost surgical. "Listen carefully," he said, crouching beside them. "If you ever go near her again, if you even look in her direction, I'll make sure you remember this night every time you take a breath." The taller man groaned, clutching his ribs. "You think you're some kind of hero?" Jason shook his head slowly. "No, just someone who's tired of cowards." He stood and looked around. The room was silent. Every customer, every bystander watched with wide eyes. Jason turned to Maria again. "You all right?" She nodded weakly, tears building. "I don't know how to thank you." "You don't owe me anything," he said. "Just live without fear." At that, the door opened again. The little girl Lily ran inside, her small voice breaking the tension. "Mama." Maria turned instantly, kneeling to hug her. "Sweetheart, what are you doing here?" "I wanted to see if you were okay," Lily said, clutching her tight. Jason smiled faintly. "She's braver than most adults." Maria laughed softly through tears. "She gets that from her father." Jason's expression softened. He'd be proud. For a moment the world outside felt distant. No shouting, no fear, just the quiet hum of safety restored. Then someone clapped. Just one person at first, the older man from the counter. Then another joined and another, until the diner filled with applause. Jason shifted uncomfortably. "All right, that's enough." But Maria stepped forward, wiping her eyes. "No, it is. You showed everyone tonight what it means to stand up." He gave her a nod, his voice quiet. "Sometimes all it takes is one person." Then, like before, he turned toward the door. "Wait," Maria called. "Can we at least know your name?" Jason paused, that faint half-smile appearing again. "Just Jason." And with that, he stepped out into the night. The next morning, the video of the diner confrontation went viral. Someone had captured the whole thing from their table. Millions of views in hours. Comments flooded in from all over the world. "That man just restored my faith in humanity. He didn't do it for attention, that's why it matters. We need more people like Jason." But Jason didn't see it. He was already gone. He'd left town before sunrise, walking toward the bus station with nothing but the clothes on his back. He never stayed anywhere long. Maybe that's how peace found him, in motion. At a quiet bench near the terminal, he stopped to tie his boot. That's when he heard it, small footsteps running. "Mr. Jason." He turned. It was Lily, holding a small paper bag. She ran up out of breath and held it out. "Mama said to give you this." He opened it, a sandwich still warm and a folded napkin inside. On it, written in shaky handwriting. "Thank you for making the world safe for people like us." Jason looked down at her. "You tell your mom she didn't need to do this." "She said you probably wouldn't take money," Lily said seriously. "So she made you lunch instead." Jason smiled, really smiled this time. "She's right about that." She grinned, proud of herself. "Will we see you again?" He crouched down so they were eye to eye. "Maybe someday, but you take care of your mum, okay?" She nodded. "I will." Jason reached into his jacket and pulled out a small silver coin, old, worn smooth from years of travel. He placed it in her hand. "Keep that," he said. "It's lucky." Lily's eyes lit up. "It's shiny." He chuckled softly. "It's been through a lot like you." He stood, gave her a gentle pat on the shoulder, and started toward the bus. "Bye, Mr. Jason," she shouted. He lifted a hand in reply without turning around. As the bus pulled away, Lily and Maria stood on the curb, waving until they disappeared from sight. Maria looked down at her daughter. "What did he give you?" Lily opened her hand, revealing the coin. On one side was a faint engraving, wings spread wide. Maria smiled. "An angel's coin," she whispered. Lily tilted her head. "He wasn't an angel." Maria nodded slowly. "Maybe not, but sometimes the people who save us don't have to be." That night, as the city lights flickered to life, a quiet diner waitress locked the doors of her shop with no fear in her heart for the first time in years. And somewhere miles away, Jason sat by a window on a moving bus, watching the dark fields roll by. The faintest smile touched his lips. He'd done what he came to do, one small act of kindness in a world that forgot how much it mattered. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough.